Hi, welcome back. So, thank you for watching the last episode. So this episode we're going to concentrate on how I found land in the Philippines. Back in August of 2025, I was looking for YouTube, as I do, finding out about who's doing what, when and where, and I found Boris and Darlene. So they've got a channel called Island Life. Now, Boris is a Russian and Darlene is a Filipina. And basically, I watched them purchasing land, looking for land. At the time, they were living in, I think, Samal Island, just off Davao. And I saw them looking at a couple of bits of land, one outside Tagum, I think it was, and just wasn't right for them. It was land was on a hill and no access, usual sort of things that you might come across when you're looking to buy land. That's one thing I'd say. In the Western world, if you're going to buy land or you're going to buy a house, you can normally pop onto a website, list them all on there, and you can, it's very easy, you're dealing with professional companies. But in the Philippines, what you tend to find is a lot of the land is actually advertised on Facebook. There's plenty of groups that you can look through. The only pitfall with that, we have what Rialtos, or you could call them agents, and they will sell or get to meet you via Facebook. It's a great way of doing it, to be fair, and I it's good. But there is a downside. The downside is that you get some people who think they are realtors, so they see an advert on Facebook, they click on there, they go on there, and what they'll do is they'll copy the images, copy the information, change it slightly, and to re-advertise it, not even being able to see the land. So you do have people out there who are trying to sell land that they've never ever been to, and I would highly recommend you do a bit of research on the person who's selling and the realtor you're dealing with. Ask lots of important questions about the land, titles, is the land tax up to date, all those sort of things that you need to know. Is it a family sort of title or mother title? So you need to ask those questions, and you can kind of tell whether they know or not, because sometimes their answers are pretty vague. So that will stop or hopefully limit the amount of running around you're going to do when you're trying to buy land, because it's not going to be very easy. Lucky enough for Boris and Darlene, they didn't have too much of that. They were looking at Hinatawan, which is up in Surigao del Sur. It's a nice area up there, it's quite quiet. They had the famous Enchanted River up there, and they were looking in that area. So they made contact with a couple of people up there who were selling land, and took the decision to ride up on their motorbike. You can watch it on their vlog, it's quite interesting. And they ride up there in search of land, and they had a couple of bits of land they looked at which were not right, and then on their second day, I think it was, they got to meet a lady called Raya and Marvin, and they were showed them a couple of bits of land as well. One particular bit of land they were very smitten with, and they basically went to the next stage of purchasing the land, doing it all pretty much in a couple of days. It was quite magnificent, paying the money up front, and they got what they were looking for, which is fantastic, and that's how it should be.
Listen, I saw this land and fell in love with it. Even though it is not yet cleared, we saw its beauty. So we asked Ate Rhea to prepare all the documents. After a few days, we went back to Surigao to check all the documents and pay for the land. It's an amazing feeling. We are very happy that finally, 2 years after moving to the Philippines, our dreams are slowly coming true.
So that got me thinking. I did my investigation work, and I watched in their video the lady, which is Raya, the way she was holding herself and sort of talking to them about the land and guiding them through the process. And I thought, you know what, I could do with someone who knows how to do this. I'd spotted a bit of land on Facebook. I thought, you know what, that's not a million miles from where she is. I wonder whether she might actually know the land. So that was my first sort of introduction to her to find out, could she look at this land for me? Watching what Raya did and Marvin, she's like a one-stop shop. She really helped them in sort of getting a lawyer and involved in everything. So I thought that's the perfect person that I think could give me a lot of help and advice. So I scanned Facebook to track down Raya, which I did, and got to talk to her via Messenger. We spent a couple of days to and fro asking questions and that kind of thing, and me to get to sort of understand who she is, her family, her background, and what she's up to. We then got onto the subject of this bit of land that I was looking for, and the bit of land was quite a bargain. But I showed her the advert, and I'm so glad I did, because the advert was incorrect. It said that it's got titles, it said it's got land tax was paid, it said a lot of things, and she managed to sort of find out more information about it, and it turns out that it was mother title, which isn't all bad. But if you watch any YouTube channels on here about buying land, kind of most people will tell you to avoid mother titles. The only main reason is that, if you can imagine, if somebody dies and they hand that land down to like 10 siblings, you then have, and that's one parcel of a big larger piece of land, but there's no title on it. So any one of those 10 siblings should probably claim that it's their land, and it could take a long time, and it could be contentious, or it's like it's not worth it. If you can find land that's already got a title on it, and you've got the ID of that person, then that makes life a lot easier. And I think you'll find that most people who do this sort of thing, realtors, that will probably recommend you go down that route. So a bit about Raya. So Raya and Marvin, they live in Hintertown, and they're great little entrepreneurs. So they've got a convenience store, so they sell like a Surrey store, but slightly bigger. They've got a hardware store, so they sell hardware, concrete, you name it, they do it. Roofing, steelworks, cement, and they've got experience in building as well. Raya and Marvin are actually qualified welders. So they've got experience in the construction industry. As well as that, they've got a lectron business, which is lovely. I've tried it myself, so I know it's nice. So they're quite entrepreneurial, and talking to her about what she's done in the past when it comes to foreigners buying land, and she's got an extensive history of people that she's helped, and she's shared with me quite a few of those clients, and they've successfully bought land with no hiccups at all, and quite a few of them have relocated, already in Hintertown. So she knows the process to go through. She understands the local paperwork. She has a lawyer that she works with. He's in Bisley. He's the same lawyer we're using, actually, by the way. And so if you've got someone on the ground like that, they are worth their weight in gold. And her rates are very cheap. And I keep saying to her, you need to put your rates up, because you've got a set fee. But if it means you're going 3 hours to do a paperwork in an office, wait 2 hours, 3 hours back, that's quite time consuming. And people are expecting to pay for your time. And if they're doing it, I know I wouldn't want to do that. She's doing something for me, so you should be rewarded and paid for it. The next stage for Raya was to go and visit the sellers. We've got a figure in mind that I wanted to offer for the land, and lucky enough that was accepted, and we were going to pay a deposit. But I wanted to, before I did anything, I wanted a copy of the deeds. Sorry, not the deed. Yeah, the deeds, the land titles. I wanted a copy of those. We call them deeds over here. They call them land titles. So I wanted a copy of those, and I also then wanted a copy of the ID for the people who own those titles, because it could be anybody on there, and they could have nicked the titles or anything, who knows. So lucky enough they all matched, and we got all that as well, so we had copies of all that. And when we paid the deposit, Raya then went to a lawyer. She got the lawyer to put together an agreement plan so we could both sign, to make sure that we're tied down to a process. So we were going to pay the land as a deposit, and then what we're going to do, we were going to pay monthly in instalments, over sort of 6 instalments. That gave us time to get things organised on the land and make sure things were working okay. So if anything did go wrong, I'm not being exposed to the whole amount of money in one go. So that was all done and notarised by the local lawyer. And then I then instructed Raya then to could you go away and check to make sure the land tax is paid, making sure that no debts are outstanding against the land from the banks, making sure that there's no other issues that could hinder us buying this land from the sellers. So let's think about the timeline of how long it took from the minute I started talking to Raya about the land to the minute we actually put a deposit down and went to view. So August was when I started looking. 5th of September 2025, I put the deposit down on the land. That was 600,000 pesos. And then Raya went off to do her work. We did have a little bit of a hiccup when we were going through the process of checking the land. It appears that the land tax hasn't been paid for the last 10 years, which is, that was a bit of a shock. And my wife and I thought this is going to be the end of this deal because that's going to be a deal breaker. But when we slept overnight about it, and I thought, well, why don't we just say to them, we'll pay that, but we take it off the price of the land, because they're going to have to pay for it anyway, and they cannot sell land in the Philippines without having an updated tax. So it's quite important that that gets done. So Raya went back and proposed that to the sellers, who thought that was a great idea because they haven't really got much more options really available to them. They can't sell it unless they pay for it. And it was, I think, 124,000 pesos. So it's not small change. And for somebody to find that before they'd sell land is going to be quite a challenge for them, I would have thought. So that was all agreed. We then spoke to the lawyers. The lawyers then redid all the paperwork on the agreement, so everyone could know exactly what they're doing. There could be no grey areas, because the last thing I want to do is say he said that and he said this. It's in writing. Our lawyers have signed it off, and we know what we're doing from all parties. And I'd recommend that for any stage of what you do through buying land in the Philippines. What do we do next? I want it surveyed, so that's a really good idea, unless it's been done already. We knew that the land had been surveyed before, and it was on the government website, the plans. But I wanted to make sure myself that it's done properly. So we got Raya to find a local surveying engineer. She found Tulod Surveying Company. They basically surveyed the land, 3.9 hectares, and they did that for, I think it's 30,800 pesos, so about £400 UK. Not a lot of money, but it was hard work, and it was quite overgrown. They had to, you think the circumference right the way around is nearly 900 meters plus to be able to walk right the way around the land, and they were fighting through trees, bushes, to even get the mahoons put in. You know, the mahoon should be the little concrete pin that should be in there. To every time they change, there's a pin put down there, and that is a legal divide. If you move that, you're in big trouble. So we know then that if anyone comes back, any disputes, it can be dealt with by just looking at that. So we got them to that. They've done a cracking job. Took them a few days, bless them. I think they thought it was going to be easy, but no, we made them work for their money. So once I got the image back from the surveyor, I overlaid it over Google Earth, so I could actually get a detailed idea of the size and shape of the land. That was really useful. So I'll put a copy of that up here so you can see it. So this gives you a visual of what you're working with when you're putting your plan together to build on that land. Great thing with Google Earth is you can do a check on history. So that land, you can go back through history and you can see how the land has been developed. For instance, the land that we bought, there wasn't a road around it, and the road was then introduced in 2017, and then obviously you can see how the land has been developed or changed, and it hasn't really done a great deal change since that time. So planting differently and that kind of stuff. But that's a real cool feature on Google Earth as well, and that's another tool worth looking at. So Google Earth is quite a good way of checking and seeing, and obviously Google Maps as well. You can actually put your little man on the road and you can actually walk in the video round the land, and I can see what it looks like from different elevations. So those two tools are really invaluable for me to find how the land is going to look. So the next stage then really was to get the land cleared. We needed to get it to a situation that we can see what we're working with. So Ray had managed to get some contractors in, and they basically put a price in to clear the land. So that basically means cutting down any of the brambles and all the bushes that have got overgrown, eliminate any small trees, that kind of stuff, and anything that's quite easy to move. Big trees were left, and trees of significance like coconut trees, banana trees, they were kept in place, because then we can make a choice later as to whether we want to keep those. Basically raking the land as well and get into piles and burning it. Quite a process. You're talking nearly 3 weeks. I think the price was about 48,000 pesos, and which I think is a steal. You got 8 or 9 guys working flat out to get that done, and it was a bigger job than they anticipated. So the good thing is, we got it cleared, and I wanted it done prior to when I go to visit, which me and Lynn were planning on going in January and spending a month in the Philippines, so we can do a bit of touring around. But then our main plan was to come and see the land, see the area, and see what we purchased, and actually put our feet on the ground for the very first time. Might seem a bit daft, but we were onto a sure thing. We knew it was the right thing we were doing. January comes round, hop on a plane. We live in the Isle of Man, which is, for those who don't know where the Isle of Man is, it's in my last vlog it tells you about the Isle of Man races. We're on this little island which is independent from England, so it's in between England and Ireland, and it's an island in the middle of nowhere. Fantastic place, has its own government, and it actually is oldest parliament recorded. It goes way back to the Vikings, and it's called the Time Wold. Before we can get over there, so we've got to go a flight from the Isle of Man to London Heathrow, and then we take a separate flight from London Heathrow over to Kuala Lumpur, and we get to Kuala Lumpur, and then we take another flight then to Manila, and then from there we take a flight to Davao City. Now Davao City, I've always wanted to go there, and our well-known vlogger Commander Dawit lives in Davao City, so I was hoping I might be able to hook up with him at some stage and have lunch. Which we did, and I'm well chuffed. And meeting his lovely wife Nell, Commander was rushing off. He had to take a ferry, and if you look at Commander Dawit's vlog, you'll see him. He rushes off to get onto the ferry. He was doing this, I think, 61-hour journey on a ferry to Manila. So it's the first time he's done it. He'd done a great review on it. It looked like it was a great way of travelling. Actually, his bike was sent up there as well, and I believe at the moment he's doing a vlog right up north of Luzon. So yeah, I'm following that, and it's quite fun. So in Davao we hired a 4-wheel drive vehicle, the Ford Ranger. I wanted something big around me. If you've ever driven in the Philippines, yeah, they have a very different way of driving over there than we do in the Western world. No rules really, and it's all, everyone for themselves. So I wanted something big around me, so if they did crash into me, they bounced off rather than me sort of being injured or limp. So so we took off up to Katiel. Katiel was where Kumar and Kulas have a holiday place. That's where Commander have his fish ponds, and we also got to see Mama Rose and her son Michael, which was nice. So we stayed up there for a couple of days, wanted to look around. There's some really nice views there. There's a great waterfall that we videoed as well. That we went to Poo Sands. We went to another place which was like a hot springs. So we done all those things, ticked them boxes, and that was great. And yeah, meeting Mama Rose was lovely because she is exactly what I thought she was. She's lovely. She's very knowledgeable. She knows stuff. Yeah, it was her 70th birthday coming up. So so we gave Michael some money to go towards getting her a pig for lechon, which is nice. So then from there we take ourselves up to Hinatawan. We'd booked a place, a bit like a native house, but a bit more better than that. Put a link in there for you so you can have a look if you ever wanted to go to that area. it's a great place to stay. 3 bedrooms, a little bit of a walk up to it. You can park at the front, but there's a little bit of a walk up there. I have suggested to him get a concrete path in there, make life a lot easier. But it is designed to be in the wild, so it's lovely. You've got the caretaker's hut, Ba-hayahay Kubu behind, so he was there on site, and so was his wife. So if you wanted anything doing, like cleaning and washing, that kind of stuff, they're there. But obviously, me having a Filipino wife, ain't no way that's going to happen. She likes to control these things and do things properly herself. So yeah, so that was great. I really enjoyed staying there. It was 3 bedrooms. You have aircon in 3 rooms, the bedrooms. No aircon in the main sort of living area and the balcony. You just don't need it. I mean, the living area was lovely because the walls were kind of porous. It's a lovely flow going through there. We only had rain a couple of days and it was hardly noticeable, but it was lovely, and you could sit out on the balcony in the evening sort of thing, like, and just hear the crickets and that kind of stuff. It was lovely. It's a good place to stay, and I highly recommend it. So from there we then off to meet Raya and Marvin and the family, and they're everything I thought they were. They're great fun, really nice people, got a lot of integrity, and we decided we'd organise a few events to do together, because I wanted to sort of get to meet them and get to know them quite well, because we're going to put a lot of trust in them. And so we decided to go and view the land first. We went up there without Raya and Marvin first. I was going to fly the drone, but I was advised not to because of the military. We needed to seek military permission first. So then the following day we decided to go off out and do an island hopping trip with them and the kids, and that was lovely. We done that, and yeah, so the following day then we looked at going to see the military guys at the base, and they then give us authorization to fly the drone. Because to try to picture the land of that size is difficult unless you've got a drone. So I threw the drone up, I'd done some great footage, but right round it, it still looks, I went up to 266 metres with this drone, and then I looked down and took a photograph and some video, and you're thinking, well, it don't look very big. But then if you look at the bottom of the video, you see my car, and my car looks like a dot beside the land. So it is a fair bit. We've got a great idea what we're going to do with the land. There's a hill to one side of the land, which is kind of difficult to plant, I would have thought. We'll clear that and plant it with coconut trees, banana, that kind of stuff, and mango and stuff. And we're going to put a Ba-hayahay Kubu up there, and that's going to be like a viewing platform, because from the top there you can see the sea, which is lovely. That's a great thing, and you can see the enchanted river from that place too. So that's going to be one of our little wish lists. We've worked out an area which is flat, which is going to be the main house. That's going to be set back quite away from the main road, and we're looking at the front of the property as you enter. We're going to have a few like what I would say holiday lets. We're going to do a few of those, and I think that's going to be a great idea for us to get a little income while we're there, so the land can work for us. But there's a lot to plan out yet. There's a lot of work to do with that yet. So it's architects and that getting involved, and we're going to have to go from there and see where it takes us. So in the next video, I'll walk through our plans, what we plan to do with the land, and go through the timescales. So thank you very much for watching today. I hope it's still informative. And for those who are buying land, I mean, I'm a Brit, so we're in the UK, so this is from my perspective of buying land. Everyone has a different way of doing it, but I'm hoping it's been helpful. There's lots to come yet, so if you want to subscribe to the channel, that would be a cool idea, and to press like. That way that you'll get notified when I do put a video up. Our videos aren't going to be weekly, they're going to be as we're rolling. This is a 4-year project, so we're going to be doing bits as we go along. And also what I'm going to do is I might do some other videos or offshoots on things we've done there. I can put up some of the places we've visited, get an idea of the area as well. So but if you are looking to look at land in Mindanao or Surigao del Sur, then you can contact Raya. I'll put the details and link below, and she could help you with your move, hopefully. And if you want to go through her, find land through her, I know she's got some great land for sale herself, but we'll see. And well, thank you very much for watching, and I look forward to seeing you in the next one. Take care.